Oh, back here we are again with Procyon. Yeah, storage issues with the phone, of course. Yeah, but like I was saying, I was just checking out some other stars, and this caught me out of the corner of my eye. Procyon, I've never really looked at it with my Google Sky Map or with the phone, but it's so weird because for the second time ever, I was getting ready to do my second channeling with them. I mean, I only channeled these guys one other time. And like I said, it was the purple and green orb that I had a thing with, and then come to find out it was from Procyon, who I've had a thing with for a long time. My history with Procyon goes way back in telling their story. So, are they the real deal? Are they the golden ones? Are these the golden ones that don't, are they the descendants of the golden ones that don't exist in time? Could they very well be that? Is it possible? I think maybe so. I think it's very possible, honestly, that they are. There's so many unique things about them. They definitely are a trip. They have a lot of synchronicities with Earth as well. A lot of our history. They like old battleships, like old kind of colonial battleships. They're into that kind of history. Do they have light ships and Merkabahs and things of that nature? Yes, of course they do. Do they prefer them? No, they don't. They're the one-star civilization in our galaxy. They actually like to astral travel 23/7. They astral travel consciously all the time. Imagine astral traveling, you astral traveling intergalactic groovers out there. Imagine doing it constantly, 24/7. Now, you can do that nowadays with channeling, kind of being 24/7 channel mode. You can't do that with astral traveling because you can't get out there and flap your wings and fly. Yeah, you can think you are, but I mean, let's get fucking real before somebody has some smart ass answer like, oh, I do it, ooh. No, you don't go fly around with your arms, and if you think you do and you're serious, I'll be calling your family and having you reported for being a fruitcake. Hey, yes, you can channel 24/7, of course, we all do. Us enlightened ones, but no, we can't astral travel. Or maybe I'm just resentful because I've only had one astral travel dream that I remember since I was a little kid. Several months back, I had one that was really cool. Otherwise, it makes me kind of nervous, but no. I'm a fan of people that astral travel, and I love hearing the stories. Dr. Robert Monroe's books, the Monroe Institute. God, I'd love to go there. That'd be my dream vacation. Go back to Virginia, stay a couple weeks there at the Monroe Institute. Yeah, out-of-body journeys. Out of the body. What was I had 2 of his 3 books when I was younger, and I'm trying to remember what in the hell both his books were called. Okay. Out-of-body journeys was one, and it wasn't anything to do with astral projecting because he didn't use that term that much. But he did coin one of the phrases, out-of-the-body experience, maybe. But he did not, I don't think astral traveling was one of them. Anyway, he was really into this from a technical standpoint, from dreams that he kept having, and they meant something, obviously, and, he went and sought out lots of advice through colleagues of his to see if he was going crazy, and turns out he wasn't, and, he did it real diligently, kind of like Dolores Cannon discovered that she was channeling, or she was hypnotizing people and getting extraterrestrials and other entities from other places coming through these people. It wasn't what she set out to do at all, but hypnotizing people to quit smoking and lose weight, things of that nature. She found it, she took it under consideration, didn't think much of it until it happened several times. She didn't sit there and go, oh, wow, the first time it happened, and think, oh, this is the end all be all. She filed it away and went with it, and the more it happened, the more she realized that, yeah, okay, this is really happening. Not that it wasn't every other time, but you know what I mean? She didn't just sit there and jump up and down and go, wow, 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 whoa, 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 I won the lottery, She played it cool until she knew, for sure. Had enough to go on to be, it's either that or what the hell else could it be? Little blinking down there. I think jumped around a little. Yeah. I might get a better shot in on it. I think that's about as far in as I can zoom on this bad boy. But yeah, Procyon, the ambassadorship that I channel, it's a collective, residential kind of a neighborhood. I thought there might have only been a a couple hundred people on there, but it's my understanding from Valence that I misunderstood what he was showing me by about a 0. So there's about 2,000 people on each side of town, the purple side of town and the green side of town. When you see the picture of his orb, you'll know. Yeah, it's that was their color, and there's 2 of their popular colors. Gold is another one, the golden ones, the shiny ones. I think from what, I might bring him in during this instead of sit down and do this one. I might try to bring him in and see if he's willing to talk while we watch the star. That could be interesting. Well, yeah, if it gets too cold, we can always go back in. Let me see. No, where though? Okay, let me see if this is really the real deal. Valence, are you there, my friend? Come through me mentally and tell me something to say. Tell you about Valence, if this is you, and you're leaving the camera, do something for me. I don't know what. Can you, I don't know, go in a circle or go up and down, something, just crawl out of the picture maybe, like you just did. Okay, no folks, I'm not moving the damn thing. It's as steady, as still as can be. Oh, what you looking for, bud? Oh, now you're gonna exit again? Okay, keep going out of the damn picture. Okay, Valence. So, yeah, what, a couple thousand per side, and 1,000 per side? The way I look at it, you probably had, man, look like, I'm thinking about with 20,000 people. No, not that many people on your orb ship. Could you have that many? No, 1,000 each side. Okay, so you got a couple of thousand members on there. Okay, that's viable. No, a couple thousand. About 1,000 each side, the green and the purple. Okay, so what's the deal right now? What's the deal with this, you know how I've been talking about this collective of people a quintillion years ago or so, of different kind of humanoids from about 6 galaxies away settling the Milky Way, and as well as Andromeda. And now I'm seeing people are starting to talk about them elsewhere. I've seen 3 other places where it's been alluded to, and then I saw this one channeling called the Golden Ones that don't exist in time. Is everybody just getting these kind of consciousness downloads now? I hope so. I hope we can all come together and figure it out together. The Golden Ones, that from the light workers, that sounded interesting. That don't exist in time. Of course, who does in your realm? Okay, would you like me to share that outward? Okay. Why don't you just come through me while I just space out at your star? Greetings, everybody. I'm Valence. I'm the residential care coordinator for the ambassadorship to Pureen. We are from Procyon. We divide our time between our 2 major planets. We're very simple, A and B, minor and major. We discussed the last time we were on the particulars about how our planet exists, how it functions, how our bloodline works, how our DNA works. We're very strict on who comes in and out to stay. For the gene pool to reincarnate, we will just go over that real quick again. We only allow 9% of our population to not be 100% of Procyon DNA. That 9% is so that we can bring in different sorts of labor that we need, specialists that know how to do things that we may have a shortage of in Procyon. So, over 10%, it is never allowed for it to fall less than 91% Procyon DNA. This is for some problems we'd had in our history with people incarnating here, souls incarnating here and causing trouble, as well as other star systems like Rigel that we had a really bad problem with for a while. that would put star seeds into our atmosphere, and they would be tainted seeds with all sorts of reptilian DNA in them. So that was a mess to clean up. Rigel was aggravated because we were not ravaged by the Sirian Orion conquest, and we did not get baited into that war like most people did. We stayed to ourselves and we listened to other people's warnings about the Orion and the Draco Empire. We listened to not trust them and not let them in our purview. So all our high-tech weaponry was kept out there so the Syrians and the Orion Empire would not stand a chance coming up against us, coming into where we protected our 2 planets with everything we had, and they knew that there were a lot easier pickings out there. Plus they knew, because of our special DNA, that it probably wouldn't be a good idea to mess with us too much. Our DNA makeup is that of Lyran, Vegan, Arcturian, and from the shiny ones. The shiny ones were the last family that were here, but was originally part of what was the original gods. Those different types of humanoids that came from planets 5 to 6 galaxies away, like your host mentioned. There were all kinds of humanoids, reptoids, eagleoids, catoids, dog humanoids, and of course humanoids that look like you and we do, of all sorts of different colors of the rainbow and swirled colors as well. 20,000 of them, 35 different races in amongst 100 families that made that number up on about 12 huge, double the size of aircraft carriers of your military type ships, biodome ships that came here and first settled Arcturus, and then Lyra right around the same time, and then Vega. It was a 1, 2, 3 effect. Eventually, the various humans from these races, from this group of people, they went out all amongst the Milky Way and Andromeda and settled various places. The settlements grew big. Out of those 20,000 people, of course, grew to be 1 trillion people before the wars, before everybody let the lie expire and did not spiral it everywhere enough, and darkness took over and ego took over, and that was the war that happened. Now, as far as we go now up to modern day, we want to say why we are just now opening up to trusting again in the Galactic Federation and the rest of the star systems. Because of what happened with Rigel, we had to be careful with our star seeds, our star population being tainted. So I know that this host here has been he's been curious about us for a long time because of his Pleiadian roots, and he knew something in his innate was trying to turn him towards us. We appreciate him creating that Facebook group, your social media platform, years and years and years ago. It stayed small. He was wondering why there were no star seeds out there that were Procyon, even though his guides had told him that there are, and they were right. There are just not very many of them. And his guides we're not trying to, we want to tell him right now, the orbs, we're not trying to keep anything from him. They just didn't feel like it was their place to explain the whole thing. And so in essence, when they told you, Larry, when they told you that we were part Pleiadian, part Sirian, they were right. They were right because of the descendancy of how it matters, and you can see what they mean by now. You can see that we are with the Lyran-Vegan connection. You can see in the Arcturian connection, you can see where that pretty much technically makes them right. But yes, we are quite a bit like the Pleiadians, like the modern day ones that you know of. We are kind of a little bit more of a wilder version of them, if you can imagine that being the case. But that is who we are, and we are descendants of those golden ones. We are the closest humanoid type planet next to Earth. We are about halfway between the Sirius star system and your Earth. Sort of in between. Believe it or not, we are older than the Sirius star system. We were established initially and terraformed initially, both our planets, by the original ones, the shiny ones, the first ones that you call them. The shiny ones that we refer to are that last family of about 3 separate families mixed together from the original ones. The shiny ones, a lot of them were pure gold, shiny. Most of them were, and some of them even had heads that were shaped like an upside down triangle, if you can imagine. That is what they look like. And now we are flying down around his, yeah, now, you see what you're doing on my screen, Valence? You're going down under my, where my stop button is and stuff. And now, now you're down passing under the thing that blows you up, you know, size-wise. Oh, now you're down under the stop button. Dude, okay. I've never had a star do this for me before, not like this. I've had the Pleiadians do all kinds of acrobatic stuff. Up and down and zig and zag. Boy, you guys really are a version of them on roids. Yeah, and I know you guys like your sex, you like your party, and you guys don't deny that. And all the experts say you do. You like to party all the time. Larry, why not? Life is all about having a good time. And once you have ascended to a certain level, whatever, other people have their own missions, other systems have their own thoughts. We have our own. We, of course, could be way up in the higher dimensions, up to the 13th dimension, like Arcturus, even, maybe even to higher than that, and have it allowed in your star system. We know that the 13th is, because of just the laws of how it is, the 14th dimension is not in existence in your galaxy. We know that. We know that it is a galaxy of perfection. Well, sort of. Did you know that technically, that's not till the 15th. Technically, the 14th dimension is 99.9% perfection as far as the beings that are there. Just like the 13th is 98.6. We know that at 11, dimension number 11, where the angelic realms start, the pre-angelic realms, it's at a 95%. Yes, and we know that. And you bump up to 97.5. I know, we know, and 98.6 for the 13th. As far as if you were going to grade quality of the souls, perfection-wise. Okay. But yes, no. They're at about a 99.9 at the 14th. But I get what you're saying. You might as well say 100. Yeah, I would say so. So what? They miss one free throw out of every, 1,000 they take? Slightly less than that. Oh, okay. Well, you know, I'm sure that could change in a second if they wanted to. Wow. There's all kinds of colors you're blinking. Green and... Wow, so that's interesting to know. So will more information be coming out? Valence? Larry, yes, of course it will be. You're going to see more and more people reporting on it. You notice Larkma just mentioned not too long ago about, even though they claim to be from the 6th dimension of the Pleiades, that is just where they vibrate with all those policies and all their ways of life from the galaxy they're from. That's where they vibrate from. That's where we vibrate from too. Well, we do from the 7th dimension, but we get their point. That's kind of like why you had them for 6 months as your guides when you first opened, or when you were first contacted. The 5th dimensional ship had you for half a year. Then we remember, we know, we were watching. We know that Larkma from the 6th dimension had you. Whoa, 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 hey, that. Is that you guys too? Yeah? Okay, cool, cool. I got you. Wow. Huh. Whoa, okay. Yes, yes, I know, I remember. And I had Larkma too while I was listening to them. I had them show up too for 6 months from the 6th dimension. But then they left and the orbs came. Yes, Larry, it's true. Larkma just stayed around to kind of get you initiated. We figured you wanted to go right into the 7th dimension. Whereas Pia and Colin were happy with the 6th dimensional guys. Or claim to be 6, but they're way more ascended than that. Yeah, I kind of figured they were. Man. I mean, except for the colorfulness, they seemed even more, oh, I don't think they were more ascended than my 7th dimensional orbs, but you know what I mean. They were different. They were the same, but different. Both had grinning, smiley little guys. Same looking kind of little guys. Just one was in an orb and one was in a, oh, one was in a, you know, the plasma looking face. Yes, I'll never forget that night, what they did, those plasma dudes. Larry, why don't you go ahead and just tell the story that you told so many times. It's true. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah. Oh, how I knew that they were the real deal? Yeah. Well, I was getting ready to separate from my girlfriend because I'd awakened to the contact. She didn't like the UFO thing and tripped her out, so she moved out, but we were still kind of seeing each other, and she stayed over one night. I knew it was probably going to be the last night we ever snuggled together in bed. So we were snuggling, and I was listening to the music on the radio. I remember Tonight came on by the Smashing Pumpkins, listening to it, and she fell asleep in my arms, and I was just sitting there looking around, and they showed up and were swirling around me like they had a few times before, but not too many. And I'm like, okay, what the hell? This is bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. I said, fuck this. If you guys are real, I'll tell you what, if you guys are really, if I'm really seeing you guys flying around me like this, why don't you do this? Why don't you tickle her on the back of her neck and have her jump like people do? You know, when they're dreaming. Well, they're not dreaming, but they feel like they're falling and catch themselves. Have her do that. I mean, I'd never seen her do it in the several years we were together. And, okay, a couple seconds went by, and guess what? She jumped. First words out of my mouth, I was like, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. You guys, do it again, do it again, do it again. I was real adamant and kind of nasty with him. And a couple seconds went by, right in my arms again, she jumped. Boy, my attitude sure changed at that point right away, and I said, okay, I took a deep breath and I said, okay, guys, listen. I said, if you could do me a favor, one favor, I will never ask you unless it's completely warranted for another favor like this again, ever. I said, could you do that just one more time? One more time. I don't want to hurt her. I love her. I know I've had her jump like that twice. It's got to be startling. She's asleep. She don't know. I said, I'm not into hurting or assaulting people, but if it means me knowing whether I'm crazy or not, or whether this is real, I said, I don't care. Let her have a big panic attack jump. You know, if that's going to tell me one way or the other. And I said, so have her jump one last time, and it's the last time I'll ask. And so about 5, 6 seconds went by. I started thinking, yeah. And then boom, she jumped really hard. That was 3 times in a row, and they smiled at me, and I said, okay, guys, this is the real deal then. Yeah, that's a true story. That's as true as anything could ever possibly be, detail for detail. Yeah. Absolutely, even down to the wording. I told him, I said, you know what? I felt bad kind of for a second, you know, the second time she jumped the second time, but I needed to know. I was like, you know what? Make her do it again. Like, you know, it's worth it. If it's going to confirm it, yeah. Plus, she never knew it anyway. She was asleep. So it ain't like, yeah. Yes. But she was having some bad dreams. She just couldn't handle the vibration of it all. Yeah, well, and there was some weird stuff going on. It was the one and only time I've dealt with them, etheric a little bit, and I've killed them before in other lifetimes, but reptilians, I've dealt with a bunch of them. One time physically face to face. It was when oh man, it was a couple of nights before I had my contacts with the UFOs. They must have knew they were coming. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I just started to fall asleep a little bit. Barely got into a dream state. I hear this creepy electronic sounding voices. There's about 5 of these guys, looking at reptilian guys like with laser guns or something, standing there by my bed. My wife was like, she was my girlfriend at the time. And I just jumped. All I did was, instead of freaking out and getting scared, I jumped up and said, "Get the fuck out of here! Get the out of pure survival! Get out of here! Get out of here! You cocksucking lizards! Get out of here!" And they did. And then it wasn't but 2 nights later, the Pleiadians first came into my life, and that story's been told too. Actually, I've been interviewed, played about it 3 times. 2 of the tapes have been destroyed, though. One of them is just, they don't have it anymore. The other one, kind of just a little bit of a garage fire or something. And then the one I've still got one of me being interviewed by Bridget Rao when she used to do interviews for me. And before when she got her own network, which is huge, she's popular. I'm so proud of her. Blew up big. I'm glad I could be a conduit. And, but I'm glad I stayed on her and bugging the hell out of her to finally come on air. Or maybe she wouldn't ever have done it. Well, she probably would have, but I was like, come on, you'll be great. And she did great for the channel. Basically ran it for 6 months at one point. And then, yeah, but anyway, she interviewed me about my awakening on her first show, and I interviewed her. We did a 2 for 2. It's a playlist. Our stories are about identical, but then again, a lot of Pleiadians are about how they awoken from, our era anyway. Yeah, anyway, Procyon, man. Yeah, I knew there was something to it. Astral traveling constantly. Supposedly, how often do you guys sleep, Valence? You still there? How long do you guys sleep? A day, in one of our 24-hour periods, if you were to break it down like that. Yeah. No, that's what I remember, and that's what I told people too. That's what I had heard too a while back from my guides too, that they thought that's what you did years ago. It's an hour. So an hour is what they advise. Okay, like they recommend 8 here, okay, an hour. So, but not everybody does that, I take it. No, Larry, no, they don't. Nope. Just like with 8, they recommend that, but, we don't. 45 minutes, half hour of solid sleep, maybe. Some of us only 15 solid sleep, and the rest of it just kind of relaxation time. But we all do take that hour to downturn. That is actually something pretty regular that we do for an hour. We take that hour and we don't astral travel, nothing. We just don't think about anything for that hour. If we're not sleeping, where our mind is like completely blank. I see, I understand though too. After the 7th dimension, it starts going down a little bit too, huh? Yes. It's actually not, and we say an hour in your time frame. We are recommended to sleep about the equivalent of about 50 to 55 minutes a day is what they recommend us getting. An hour is just easier to say, but it's really, if we were going to get technical with you, 50 to 55 minutes. Like what is it, 8 to 9 for you guys, 7 to 8, yeah. Yeah, depending on who they ask, or who's saying it. Their V-man. Yeah, so what, 52 and a half minutes of sleep? 55. Huh, so do you have any people that are lazy there that milk it and want to sleep longer than that even? Larry, no, not really, because of the physical nature and the physical specimens that we're all such in great shape that we have such an abundance in energy that, no, that's plenty for us. Plenty for us an hour. Nobody ever gets quite to an hour. It's kind of like that enigma that's never reached. Maybe 58 minutes sleeping in. That we would feel guilty about. Not guilty, but you know what I mean. It'd be a little surprising. Yeah. I see, okay. Yeah. So the sleeping is really just suggestive. I mean, as long as you're kind of laying there with your eyes relaxed, not thinking about anything. Yeah, same thing. Okay. 7th dimension. Wow, cool. Yep. All we want to go. We have all the technology we need, but our existence is a 7th dimension. As you know, that is the last dimension of a full regular body of sorts. It's not a holograph or not morphed in and out of. Yeah, I understand, Valence, I understand. I'm not going to really get into it right now with explaining it to people. If they, you know, anybody that would be serious about inquiring about that would already know as much as I do about that and would get it and probably could articulate it a lot better than I could anyway. As far as the 7th being the last. It's not the last, and if somebody else hears that doesn't understand it, well, you know, they can look into it. They'll figure it out. Yeah. 7th dimension, I like that though. That's interesting. That's a great place to stay at and for humanity. Now you crawled under that thing again. Oh, there you are. Yeah. 7th dimensional Mother Gaia. It would be cool, which already in the plans for that. And 8D. Yeah. 9, 12. It's my understanding with all these ascensions, Valence, you know, that I was talking about. And the 13th being the last, you know, in Arcturus. The Pleiades getting that extra dimension in the 12th. All these entities ascending a dimension that I've channeled some of them, and also Arcturus losing one of their dimensions, the 9th dimension. So going from a 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th. Those two star realms, the 9th and 10th, getting rid of the 9th. I think that's a good idea for them. Let their 9th dimensional entities become 10, which is what they're going to do, and let other 9th dimensional ascended souls, you know, they can be that level in Pleiades or somewhere else, Sirius. Yeah, but now it's my understanding, I just got wind tonight, Valence, that actually there might be one more let in here, and that might be the 14th dimension. So we'll see how that goes. That would make sense, though, if they're only 98.9, wouldn't it? Yeah, Larry, I suppose so. You seem to think about this stuff a lot more than we do, give it thought of. Yeah, I guess so. Overthinking it. Well, I'll tell you, Valence, it either is or it isn't, right, man? Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, so what are you guys doing drifting there? I see you're like an orb ship. I see you fluctuating and fluttering right there. So what is it that... Yeah, was this all about... Was this just luck, or was this just a coincidence that I happened to catch you for the first time ever out of the corner of my eye? Well, I mean, I've seen you on the Google map before, just screwing around looking, but... I think anyway, but I've never, like, looked you up in the night sky, really. That's weird. I never have. So what were you guys just doing, waiting for me? Now, I noticed a lot of times when I've seen Sirius, in fact, was that you guys the other, hold on, was that you guys the other night over there that I kept looking at for a minute going, it's kind of weird, that's usually where Sirius is at. Is that the right time of year for Sirius to be over there? It seems like it's a little bit soon yet, by a couple weeks or a month. Was that you guys? Larry, it's possible. It probably was. Yeah. I think we do. Yes, Larry, it was. And you were busy doing something. I know that you were going to get sounded like, we got the impression you were going to go get your Google Sky Map and look, but you got tied up with something. Yeah, I did. And I'm not sure what that was, but I did. You know, everything happens for a reason, right? Well, this is incredible. 2 Arcturian channelings earlier. Oh, really? With which collectives? The ones I usually do. The only 2 I do from Arcturus, you know, the translucent color realms from 12 and 13D crystal blue angels. Oh, yes, yes. Awesome, good. Were they exciting? Well, not quite as exciting as you, my man, in the Pureen ambassadorship, but you know, they don't let it. I'm sure they heard me say that. No, they're cool. They're cool. They got this thing now, you know, where they didn't deny it. I asked them last time. They're starting to, these Arcturians are, they're, during this whole ascension craze, they're starting to think they're Pleiadians again and acting like they're back at the Pleiadians level. And a lot of the Pleiadians, the higher dimension ones, are like, we want to be Arcturians. We're ascending, we're working towards being on that dimensional level. You know, not being Arcturians, but being that in those higher dimensional realms and getting that 12th dimension put in. You know, pawning the 5th off on other star systems like the Arcturians with the 9th. But yeah, so well, that'll be good. I know just got that 12th and they're already wanting a 13th. Yeah, it's ascension craze, Larry. It's going on all over. Yeah, I guess so. I kind of get bit by it. The blinking colors. I've never seen you do this there, Mr. Procyon. Well, if we were all a Procyon, that'd be one thing, but you know, it's you're kind of seeing a ship posing as a star there, Larry. Oh, am I? Is that what I'm seeing? Huh. Oh, you're glowing and blinking and all that stuff. So, these golden ones that, that random, whoever the hell they were, the light workers or whatever we're talking about. Of course, there's 1,000 channels named that, but, on YouTube, but yeah, it seemed really solid. And Larkman was talking about it, and so was somebody else mentioning the existence of that, you know, those creators way back before time. The original, but they were the original creators then of the original Earth humans a billion years ago. And when they talk about the Pleiadians from that perspective, they're not talking about the Lyran Pleiadians. I know that Atlantis is a million years ago, Lemuria. They're talking about the Pleiadians from now, but they're not talking, they weren't a billion years ago. No, Larry, that's true. They were not. That was about the time that the wars had destroyed the Pleiades, and around the time that Orion and Lyra were fighting, and they were colonized again. Yes, I know, I remember. The 3 planets, only the 3 planets that were habitable, and then there was, there was another 7 that needed terraformed bad, re-terraformed, that were destroyed. Ah, that must have been terrible. Yes, Larry, it was worse than the Orion Sirius destruction before the Syrians turned to the light, when they were running with Orion wreaking havoc everywhere. Yeah, right. I knew our galaxy had been destroyed a few times. Of course. Yeah, anyway, that's bummer news. So you're just out there hanging out. It's pretty weird that, was that one of your ships coming by? Or was that one of the other galactics? Larry, that was one of the other galactics flying by. From where? Larry, you sure are nosy. Does it matter? No, it does. We'll tell you. No, it really doesn't matter. I really, you know what? No, I don't. I feel like I wasted a lot of energy to ask, because now it doesn't matter. I get so bored. I'd like to have it be a suspense, even though you're willing to tell me what Pleiades, Sirius, the combination of them all. Nah, I don't want to know, man. I really don't. Well, we'll tell you.